this entire show. It's a dramedy that I've fallen in love with. Uh,
Wow, wow, wow.
yeah, so congratulations about that, Kobe. Um,
So,
I love it because obviously I'm a creative, you're a creative, right? And it talks about dreaming and it also talks about being Black and
Black.
showcases this from the lens of being Black. But I found it so funny. I really did. I found it funny the things that we find relatable where other people maybe sometimes cannot relate. Was this the goal? The goal is to be relatable for Black people, just to show through a lens, or is it supposed to be insightful for or both?
Both, definitely. I think it's definitely the fusion because I think what it is that comedy is one of the art forms and genres which makes something very accessible. Like everybody's gonna laugh. Do you know what I mean? Like as long as because comedy has its principles, I'm gonna get all geeky here, but comedy has its principles to apply to the detail, if you know what I mean. So it's like if you follow these set of principles, and you raise the stakes over here and etc. So obviously knowing that and then applying it to the actual detail of it, that's kind of where you get the comedy from that everybody's gonna consume. And then now you can put information on top of that that was
Mhm.
hard to consume before. Do you get what I mean? So it's like now people will laugh and say, "Oh my God, hold on a minute, this is either what I go through, or is this what I come across like,
Right.
or that's what all of those questions would be. Because I know Johnny's writing style, is very, knowing him as a friend, he just doesn't hold back, does he? He just, he just says what needs to be said. He's not sort of, he's very classy with how he is, but he doesn't really mince his words. And I think the voice of this piece
Mhm.
speaks to that. Do you get what I mean? The boldness of the comedy doesn't shy away from the truth, if you know what I mean. And it's
Wow.
because of the truth that we're laughing. So I think definitely he was there to inform, but definitely there's so many nuggets in there, man. So many nuggets. It's like, there's clothing lines in there from Black owned companies, and one of them is a friend of mine is Cashware. Do you know what I mean? It's like these are sort of young business owners who now have been able to apply their stuff to relatable content. So yes, it was to inform, but it's also to connect to the people whose story.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then how do you split the difference? How do you make it so that you can receive the comedy all while still being a drama at the same time? As a director, as a filmmaker, is that has got to be a special talent because that comes across too. But how do you split the difference without leaning too much to the left or the right and just staying right there in the pocket?
That's it. That's again where science comes into it. Do you know what I mean? And that's where the craft comes into it because it's mathematics. You do this 9 times out of 10, it will probably be the case, if you know what I mean. And that's why
Yeah.
they've been set up to kind of uphold the information. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And I think is if you go too deep into what you think, it kind of pulls away from its accessibility. Do you know what I mean? Then you're kind of like feeding your type of people. Do you know what I'm saying to you? As opposed to, you know, feeding everybody. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Which is the
Exactly.
point of this. Like, it's more important for as many people as possible to consume this than for people like myself to watch it in our, homes. Like, oh my God, we're on TV. I think, there's a bigger picture. Do you get
Mhm.
what I'm saying to you? Of, this is the culture, this is the product, and what is the craft behind it to get as many people as possible access to it. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. I think, relying on because that's my job really. This is a Johnny's vision. Do you know what I mean? He's a sort of visionary behind it. We're all sort of and Ali as well, and
Mhm.
we're all sort of crowding around them as visionaries. You know what I mean? And how do we do that? We have to do that like professionals, like skilled professionals who've learned the
Mhm.
craft. And so as long as you're and it's not about following rules. That's why they're called principles. They're references to pull
Mhm.
you towards a certain outcome. Do you get what I mean? And I think that that's how you probably want to keep it balanced and
Mhm.
consistent because you're being pragmatic rather than sentimental in your creative choices. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's obviously then it gets to the part where you do want to be sentimental because that's when the spirit comes in, but it's on the foundation of craft.
You stated that so perfectly. That was just we're gonna take that one clip right there. That was just a perfect way to state it. So
Yeah,
very
you
good. You
can
should
have that
also
one. You can have it. It's on
exactly. I
how.
appreciate that. You should add
Yeah.
master class. Go ahead and add master class to your title. Okay,
Love that.
teacher.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
um,
TED Talks.
yeah, I also loved, as I was looking at the visual of the flyer, just the flyer, and am I saying so? Dreaming whilst Black.
Yes, you're saying
I
it
love it.
perfectly. Yeah,
because clearly that's going to be a UK thing versus US, right? But I love that just that small detail there. But
exactly.
also speaking of the details, the
Mhm.
the L, the A, and the C in the
Mhm.
word black being it's related to keyboard. Is that really that's exactly what it is?
It's just kind of like, the black part is the, do you know what I mean? It's almost the unspoken, like if you're not black, do you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
It's like you have to, in this day and age, you kind of have to tread on eggshells. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a swear word. Do you know what I mean? It's like, can I even call you black? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Is that correct? Do you know what I mean? So I think anyway, it wasn't my decision, and I wasn't actually there when that decision was made. But what I get from it being part of the team, do you get what I mean? Is like the
Yes.
black word is like that's the part that makes the show. Do you know what I'm saying to you? That's
Yes.
we're gonna go deep with this, all the unspoken things with this that were looked at as swear words. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be in this show. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what I
Smart.
get from the branding anyway. And then you've got a Johnny's handsome face up against the
His
that thing.
profile.
That's iconic. You see that
The
on the streamer, and it's just such a beautiful image. You're like, wow, that's my boy. I grew up with, you know what I mean? He's my friend for ages.
Oh, that's beautiful. In addition to like the blue, it's the sky, it's dreaming. I mean, I get it. I get the whole thing. I get the visuals. I get the show. I get
Mhm.
the dramedy of it. And then another thing that I think is so appealing for me, just being here in the States. I do travel. I go abroad, but I think it's appealing to know that the UK is just like the US or anywhere else for that matter. You're still going to experience things and see things if you're Black, seeing things from a certain lens. So that comes across as well. And I'm sure just through your experiences coming over to the US, you don't live here. I'm assuming you don't.
I'm in South London as the same hood I grew up in.
You grew up in South London. You still live in
Yeah.
South London.
Still here, but I'm still here, boy. I haven't moved in.
Okay, but you notice that there really is there's no difference. It's all the same lens. Is that right?
For sure, definitely. I think this show is the exciting parts about this is the connection parts, the bridge between, over the Atlantic. Do you know what I'm saying to you, ocean
Yeah.
kind of thing, but also the differences. Do you get what I mean? It's like we're the same, but we're different. And that's the beauty of it. Do you get what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like there's such a specificities. Like, for example, we're both black. Do you know what I'm saying to you? We both, we're very similar. Do you know what I mean? In terms of we can communicate quite in a fluent fashion, but
Yeah.
your accent's different, mine's different. Do you know what I mean? Like the whilst and the while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just little bits that accumulate to the reality that actually we are actually different, as similar as we are. So I think
Mhm.
that this show does just that. I think it's going to be a beautiful bridge between, over the Atlantic. Definitely, I think it's going to be that one where it's like, oh, we are similar, definitely, but I love the difference because we're not
Yeah.
moaning about it. Do you get what I mean? It's like I love the fact that this is actually funny. Like as a consumer, I watch this thing and I actually laugh. I don't laugh out of novelty. I laugh because I forget myself. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yes.
stuff is jokes. So and God willing, obviously that humor is universal because it is. We on Twitter when you go on social media these days, if anything goes viral, you see UK Twitter, US
Yeah.
Twitter, Nigerian Twitter, and everyone's connecting, laughing at the same jokes. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like that's kind of like a visual representation of that.
Yeah. I love that. And so it gives us an opportunity to travel to and laugh at the same things that we would laugh at here. So
Exactly.
I definitely appreciate the show. Give me lastly, your hopes, your dreams for this dramedy. What are you hoping people take away from it? Where are you hoping that this goes from here?
Wow, this show's going to be huge. I already know it. When it was a web series and the Johnny was doing it, we knew the intention. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
it was always going to do what it was going to do. This is a faith exercise. That's what a lot of people need to understand. This is a
Ooh.
guy who knew this was going to happen, as difficult as it was. I know where this will go. I can see this winning all the awards it needs to. Do you know what I mean? I can see his award cabinet being very, very vast. I can see a lot of seasons in this as well. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a lot to explore in the Black experience.
Mhm.
And as filmmakers who, by God's grace, me and Najani have both sort of developed from being film school friends back in 2015 to in 2023, us doing our thing. You can switch on the TV and watch our work. On a global
Wow.
scale. So I think that, yeah, like his career is gonna go through the roof. I can see him making many more shows. Ajani's also a director. I met Ajani as a director. I DOP'd his grad film in film school, you know, so I know he's got that coming as well. So I think Dream While Black is that key that just unleashes this whirlpool of stories that people don't see coming. It's like a train, a fast train coming at you fast. Do you get what I mean? And there's going to be a movement. I can see this being a sort of renaissance in a way. And Dream While Black can spark that. I think that's something I'm looking forward to.
Woo. Well, you have me inspired. I'm already inspired. And just
Good.
again, being a
Love it.
dreamer, you've done the job, Kobe. You've done your
Love it.
job.
Love it.
One last word for dreamers. Give us one
Sure.
last word to dreamers.
You gotta have faith, man, and belief. You know what I mean? Like faith, belief is the same thing. So it's not two words, it's just a translation. Do you know what I mean? But you know, while you're dreaming, you gotta believe in that dream or you're wasting your time, man. Do you know what I mean? And you know, there's no faith, you know, without works. So faith is a doing word. You gotta do it. When you watch Kwabena in the show, he's doing from beginning to end, you know. So yes, faith, belief, that's the word.
Perfectly said. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank
I
you for
really
your
enjoyed it.
work. Thank you for your work. This is good. This is great. And I do see this being big things. So I'm dreaming right along with you. All right.
Man, no glory to God, man. Thank you so much for your time. I
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you, Kobe. Take care.
it.
Have a good one.